Hey everyone, welcome back. A couple weeks ago, I posted a little teaser of a new space that I'm moving into and going to be setting up. It's going to take a long time to get in here. I've got a lot of equipment to purchase and ways to furnish the space. So that is going to take some time, but it's also going to take a lot of time just to move everything I currently have and to kind of stop production temporarily on my current space to move here. So it's going to be difficult. The timing is going to be important, but I'm excited to get started on it. But a lot of you have been asking me for an update on the space, and I haven't really done anything yet other than just plan. So I thought this was a great opportunity to give you a little bit of a tour while it's still empty. And that way I can show you what I plan to do with the space and things I plan to purchase for the space and how I plan to use it. So that's a lot of plans, a lot of planning. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I will kind of let you know what I'm thinking and walk you through it as I go. And then I'll also show some examples of the type of things that I'm planning on putting in here. So hopefully it makes it a better visual. Behind me, you can see we're in the warehouse. So I'm going to start in the warehouse section, and I'll show you around, let you know the different things I'm going to do in this space. But this space is primarily going to be storage, shipping, incoming and outgoing. There's going to be a small kind of, I don't want to say retail, because this is not meant to be a retail place. However, there is going to be a section that's more like an outlet. So if anyone does want to come in, they can, or pick up something if I'm here, that kind of thing. So I'll show you that as well. There's a few other things that we're going to do in this area too. But let's go ahead and kind of start moving around, and I'll walk you through it. Now, before I break down each spot, let me just spin this around so you can get a better idea of the space. This is awkward, watching me spin in circles. Okay, and then I'll give you a better picture here once we get moved over to another area. But essentially, behind me obviously is the garage, and it is a manual garage right now, but I will be installing an automatic lift on it, I think, just because that way I can put a smart sensor on it. And if I'm not here and a delivery shows up, I can just use that app to open the door for them, which is pretty cool. So it's not a high priority, but it is something I would probably like to do because it doesn't cost that much to do it. But anyways, this will be a great area to back up trucks and get orders. I get a lot of things on pallets, so it'll be nice to be able to have this. And then as you kind of walk into the garage space, basically where I'm standing right now is going to be like a little counter where there'll be a computer to kind of check things in and out as they come in. So mark it as received or shipped, things like that. And then on the other side of this is going to be a packing center. So I'm going to go ahead and spin this around. The wall behind me is going to have shelves coming off of it vertically like this, and then along the back side of each one too. So there'll be like U shapes on each one. So there'll be rows of shelves, in other words, and that's going to be my pick shelves. So those will be the shelves that are holding finished products that are ready to, in one central spot, that are ready to be picked and put into shipments and sent out the door. So it'll be my products, products that I do for other customers, of course, wholesale, white label, things like that. But anyways, they'll be really close and convenient. And then after the shelves, basically where I'm standing on the other side of that counter is going to be a large, like 8-foot packing center. And I'll be getting that from Uline, I think. And it is like I said, an 8-foot packing center that has all the bells and whistles and attachments to hold like rolls and tape guns and packing materials. Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff, but I'll be running power down to it for a scale. And then on both sides of the packing table, I will have little dump carts to hold, like one for UPS and one for USPS. And that way, when things are boxed up, I can just put it in that dump cart and they'll be ready to push to the door when it's ready to be sent out. So it's going to be super nice to be able to grab everything, like bring a cart over and pick all my items for orders, and then literally just almost turn around and be able to have it all in a package center right in front of me. So I'm really looking forward to that. Let's look a little over here to this side. This is really just a storage room. It's just going to be like janitorial supplies, cleaning supplies, miscellaneous storage, nothing fancy. But that area there, which is also where there's another entrance coming in, it's probably going to black me out here because of the backlighting. But there is another entrance, obviously, on the other side of the garage. And this is an entrance from a parking lot. So obviously for me, or for just simple orders and deliveries, I don't have to use the garage. That's really nice. And then this area here, next to that door, is going to be that outlet section where I'll have some products on display. I'm going to paint that area. That's the one area in this space that I'm going to paint. The rest doesn't really matter. But there will be some shelving there, maybe a counter, an area where I could, package up or bag up orders, something like that. I don't really know. I haven't completely figured that out yet. That's the general plan for that area. I'll put my logo and signage, things like that. But again, it's not really meant to be a retail place, but it's nice to at least have a spot sort of like that. But for the most part, this is really a warehouse section. And this space makes about half of the total space I will have. And we'll get to the other spaces here shortly. Now, if you come over here with me, in this corner is, the back corner there is just a utility closet, circuit breakers, things like that. This counter was here before. I don't really like the looks of it, so I'll be painting it, but I'll repurpose it. I'll use it for something. And then here's a small little office. It's not a fancy office. It's not a large office. It's only about like 9 by 9 by 9, or 9 by 9. But anyways, it's a good little small office off of the warehouse. So if I just need to work, if I'm going to spend a whole day working in here, it's a great little place to be able to work on a computer and do other things I need without having to go somewhere else, if that makes any sense. So it's nice to have a little small warehouse office or shop office, I guess. And then you'll see this like random sink right here up against this wall. It is a functioning sink, but the reason I say it's random is because it's by itself right now. There is actually going to be an extension, the rest of it there. It's going to be more like a coffee bar or beverage bar, snack area. In front of it will be a conference table. Yeah, so it's kind of like a lounge or small little break room area here in the warehouse, which is nice because anyone that is here helping in the warehouse section, they don't have to go anywhere else. Right outside one of these doors is a restroom, so there's a restroom break room. It's everything that they need to be able to do is right here. So really excited about that. Let me give you a few better shots of the whole space. If I get back in the corner. So it's a large room. It's about 2,500 square feet, something like that. I don't know how well the camera is going to show the space, but I think it's probably doing a decent job. Everything looks smaller in the camera when I look at it, but it is a good space for a warehouse section. I think that covers it in here. Like I said, I'm not doing anything else fancy. It is just a warehouse. So I will show you some of the items that I've talked about. I've got these heavy duty shelves, some of which are already here on the floor. They're going to be going against those walls coming out. Like I said, there'll be tables and packaging centers and all that stuff I still need to purchase. What I'm doing right now is not really going to fill the space very good. So I do need to buy some new stuff. Okay, that finishes up the warehouse section. Now we're going to go through this corner door, and actually you can get to the other section outside too. They have their own private entrances. I'll show you that when we get over there. But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get to the other areas. All right, so we're probably super backlit here, but this is another entry into like a foyer or an open space before we get to the other two spaces. And I wanted to point this out because right there's actually like a concrete slab that almost is like a dock. It's not really a dock, but it's elevated and you can back a truck right up to it. So if there's anything that needs to go specifically here and doesn't really need to go to the warehouse first, well, in order to help me not have to transfer stuff, this will be great. And this is a big open area in here. And then actually, if I spin you around, this has got the two restrooms, men and women. The other side has a single individual restroom, and this has two. And then we're going to go into this hallway, which leads to the rest of my space. Okay, now this area is going to be painted. This is another hallway, which is great because it's just more room to maneuver things around and keep things. There's another entrance on this side as well. I don't really think I'll ever use that. There's some stairs down there, so it's not that beneficial, but I don't know. If you're in here and you just want to go hang out there for a minute, I guess it's kind of cool. And then this is all going to be painted. The ceilings are brand new with the LED lights as well, but the walls are this kind of ugly pattern and color. They're all just getting painted, and not by me, but they are going to be painted here soon. And then I might even paint the doors too into these next two rooms just to spice it up a little bit. So this room is going to be used for two major things. One is my recording or photo video studio. So it's going to have its own designated space, which is awesome because I hate setting stuff up and taking it down all the time. I love doing video, but I hate that part of it. And there's two different walls intentionally. One is this kind of gray wall that will serve as one background. It's like a barn effect. And then this one is going to be solid colored, but probably painted. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided, or maybe I'll paint half of it. So I really have three options. Put my logo on it, hang some track lights up under there just to make it look more interesting. There'll be a table or desk in front of one of them, and then just if I'm doing like talking head videos, where like on my channel, a lot of the videos are me just talking and explaining things. And then another one might be like a demo table. But most of the making is going to be in the other room, which we'll get there in a minute. So there'll also be some recording in there. Now I'm debating on whether or not I want to double up on photo equipment or just build like this cart that I attach the lights and camera and everything to. And then I can just turn it, rotate it to look at any wall that I want to use at the time. Still haven't figured that out 100% yet, but it's exciting either way. Now I'm going to spin you around. You can see I'm only going to use about half this room for this recording. It's a large room. I don't know the dimensions offhand, but it's pretty large. So if I turn you around, oh, and these windows will have blinds on them, or not blinds, but pull down shades, which is cool. But on the back side of this room is like this kitchen counter or bar or sink, or I don't really know what you want to call it, countertop. There's a sink on one side and then just open storage. I have the cabinets, the cabinet doors that I might put back on. I haven't decided yet, but I'm probably going to paint this. And this will be also a lounge. So when I'm not using it for recording, there'll be a lounge. There's going to be a couch in here. There's going to be a chair. There'll be another table. There'll be a conference table, so we can also have meetings in here. There'll be a TV up on the wall somewhere. And then, of course, like drinks and snacks and stuff like that, because this is going to be a multi-purposeful room. It's got plenty of space. And when I'm not recording, might as well use it for something else, right? So it's I'm really excited about this room. And yeah, I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to set up and furnish everything yet. I'm shopping right now. Like I'm trying to figure out what to buy. But I am excited either way to go ahead and get started in here. I will probably spend a lot of time in here because you guys know I spend a lot of time on videos. So I am, I'm pumped about this space. All right, one more space left. Let's go ahead and head over there. Okay, so this is going to be the most heavily used room. This is going to be production, on-hand supplies and that I use, storage that I use for my production. There'll be a prep table in the middle. So I'm going to walk you around and show this space because I have a lot of plans in here. And you'll see some windows behind me. A couple of these are brand new windows. The ones in the back are getting replaced here soon since it warms up a little bit. And then these will also have pull down shades because if it's super hot or super bright, I don't want that light coming in here while I'm making product and candles are trying to settle up. So that's the general plan. Let me go ahead and go into a little bit more detail. So this is a very large room. I don't know if it's going to show really well in the camera. The camera, at least what I'm looking at, makes it look kind of short, but it's actually really long. It's a really long room. Let's go ahead and start at the very back because that is going to be on-hand supplies and storage. So this area is going to be sort of like the warehouse was, where there's going to be shelving along that side wall over there. And then there's going to be shelving coming off, and then more on this side, wax, wicks, fragrance oils, containers, anything else that I use on hand on a regular basis to make products. I'm going to spend a small fortune getting the rest of the shelving I'm going to need in here because I'm going to need quite a bit. But this is really just going to be all decked out for storage and supplies. Where I'm standing right now, this kind of middle section. Oh, by the way, it's got 2 entrances on this room, which is cool. But right here in the middle, just on the other side of the storage, is going to be large prepping tables. So prepping jars, doing wicks, labeling jars, whatever the case may be. Middle can be used for several things, but it's mostly going to be prepping and labeling and that kind of thing. So while I'm working on batches or doing recording, I have someone else in here helping me prep the next batch and so on. I'm going to spin you around. And the rest of this is all production. So I'm going to start with that wall over there. First of all, each of these walls I'm probably going to paint in here just to give it some flavor and make it more interesting. Different colors like an orange and a gray and a green and something like that. I don't know 100% yet. Really haven't thought about it too much. But those cubes are going to be great because they're going to be painted, of course, too, and then they'll all be labeled. And things that I need on hand with me as I'm making, stirring utensils or dye and heat guns and wick trimmers and wick centering holders. I mean, there's so many things we use like on hand all the time and I don't have to go hunt for it. So I'm going to have a work table underneath it or off to the side. And all these things will be like right there in my reach, my gloves, anything. It'll all be right there, very close by. And then over here in the corner is going to be wax melting tanks and whatever you want to call them on these industrial commercial stainless steel tables. And I'll have a few of those set up. And then the rest of this room is all commercial and like industrial stainless steel pouring tables, like you'd get it for like a restaurant or a kitchen. And those will be here in the middle, coming off the wall. I think I did the math and I'm going to need about 10 of those, which isn't super fun. They're like $400 a piece. So yeah, that's not going to be cheap. But right now I only have about half of that. So I'll be able to double the capacity, which is awesome. But anyways, the main area here is, production, making, pouring, all of that. And then here in the middle where I'm standing is the prepping. And then on the other side of the room, which just showed you a second ago, is going to be storage. And then actually off to the side, there'll be a couple racks with trays. So if I do need even more space off the table, I can just move them off and put them in those racks to free up even more space. Although with 10 tables, I don't know that I'm going to need to do that. And then also in here, there'll be a TV as well. So for anyone who is spending some time working in here at the prep table, I'll have a TV, I don't know, somewhere. So they're not bored and can do something so it's not so monotonous. That's my plans. I don't know. That's a lot to do and a lot to spend. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to do all this yet. I'm more worried about the time because it's a lot to do and I can't shut down production and move stuff without it hurting what I can do. Like I have to almost halt operations to move here. So I'm still working on the details, but you guys have been asking for an update. So hopefully you enjoyed this tour of the open space. And then of course I will continue to update you as I start filling it and as I start setting things up. I'll do almost like a time-lapse video. I'll have some cameras rolling while I'm doing things. And maybe when I'm all done, I'll put something together and you can see kind of the whole process. So I don't know, it's going to be fun for me. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, check out the other videos on the channel if you'd like. As always, I appreciate all of you for being here. I'll see you next time.